Hey there, StarCraft fans. Horst here again with another replay. PvZ on Xel'Naga Caverns. This is against a guy named Aquabadger. Now this is going to be another demonstration of the 15 Nexus build with a couple of refinements and more observations I've made since the last time I showed it to you guys. It's only slightly different. You start off with the exact same type of thing you would before. Put your pylon down out here in the open at 9. You're still going to build a 15 Nexus, but I've learned a couple of things to look at in the Zerg base. Let's go to my perspective and see what I'm scouting here. Now, when you go into the Zerg base, you're going to want to look out for an early pool. You're going to want to look out for an early gas. I see a gas before pool, which generally indicates a speedling build. Fast speedlings are pretty, they really don't have much of an effect on a 15 Nexus build, so you can expand pretty freely. If he goes for fast roaches, that of course is a problem, but notice the pool timing is a little later. It's like a 14 pool, which means I should be able to get the Nexus up, I should be able to get a Forge up, I should be able to get cannons up before his Zerglings are much of a threat. So I don't really feel like this is going to throw my build off. So, one more annoying thing, a drone beats a probe, so if your probe starts getting attacked by the drone, you have to pull it back and replace it with another one immediately, so you can build your Nexus on time. I'm slightly late because I had to get a new probe, but you don't want to delay that too much. And again, at 16, when you have 150 minerals, you want to put your forge down. You want to keep up probe production. Slight delay here as I am building another pylon here so I'm not blocked. But you do want to keep up probe production. You want to keep up pylon so you don't get unblocked, so you don't get supply blocked. And you want to save about 300 minerals, so when that completes, you throw down 2 cannons at your front. And you want to keep scouting the Zerg. I see he has no expansion yet. I saw he has a bunch of Zerglings. I saw a drone going out to look like an expansion, so I do not think it's going to be an all-in. Still, I want to put another a gateway down around the time your expansion finishes. The gateway will help you get out your cyber core quicker. It'll help you get out a couple of zealots so you can scout and see these Zerglings are going to be repelled by my cannons. Throw down another cannon if you have trouble covering. This cannon here will protect the back of my probe line so you can't sneak around. But once you have your gateway, you throw down a fast core and another gateway. So the purpose of getting the fast core out, so you can have stalkers quickly. If you have stalkers out, you can defend a roach bust pretty easily. Just gotta micro around it so that you draw the roaches into the cannon fire. The purpose of this fast zealot, I've been doing this a lot lately in this build, is to go scout the Zerg. A single probe won't do it because it'll get killed by a Zergling, but one zealot can handle up to 3 Zerglings if you micro it. So usually he won't be able to kill it, you'll be able to see it. Now here I spot that the Zerg has an expansion. I see he has a couple of drones there, he has a queen there. This means that he is not going for an all-in one base roach bust, so I'm pretty confident I'm going to live if I keep doing this. So I know there's no real risk of me instantly dying, so I'm not too scared. Again, you want to chrono boost warp gates. What I like to do when I'm doing this build is get a fast twilight count for blink stalkers. I do like to open blink. It gives me a lot of mobility, it gives me a decent way of scouting the Zerg. And I throw down 6 gateways as well, so it's a 6-gate blink opening. And you're going to need all your gas to do that. So I get 6 gates, I get twilight counts for blink, eventually you get +1 weapons. And it's quite passive at this point. Basically, it's you just gotta wait till your upgrades finish until you get everything online that you need to in order to win this. Yeah, and there goes the +1 tech and the blink tech at the same time. Now these upgrades should finish around 9.5 minutes, so you're able to push out then. Again, you want to watch you don't get 2 supply blocks. Keep throwing down pylons, keep ensuring you have probe production. I'm keeping up with the Zerg almost, which is pretty good considering he has inject larva and he's not hatching any eggs. He's spending all of his larva injects for drones. So if you keep up with the chrono boosting, you can usually keep up with the Zerg and drone production. That's what the 15 Nexus's point is, to keep up the Zerg economically. He's probably going for another expansion yet, I don't know. The purpose of this fast blink is so I can get in there and scout in force and maybe do some damage. The fast blink stalkers will be able to get in, scout, and usually get out. Speedlings do a decent job catching blink stalkers on creep. Off creep, the stalkers can usually get away with minimal damage. And here he goes for a bailing buff, annihilates my probe line. Really, you should have a pylon here. That hurts a lot. When that happens, I think it's a decent idea to transfer some probes from your natural if you're oversaturated. From your main, if you're oversaturated, transfer them into your natural so you have decent saturation on both. But here I'm going to go for a counterattack. I know he had Bane. He spent money on Banelings, so his army probably isn't as large. Baneling tech is kind of expensive at 25 gas per Baneling, so I feel I can move out, and I don't really feel too scared that I'm going to lose this force here. So I just push out with it. While I'm doing that, I will ensure that I'm not supply blocked. Try to keep warping in more stalkers. Try to keep your money low. Try to keep up probe production. But you can pick off an overlord. You don't want to get surrounded. You want to use blink micro to blink the stalkers back. Do as much damage as you can with this little poke here. You just don't want to lose anything. And blinking down there, I noticed there's creep here. So I'm going to go try to kill that hatchery. His army is small, but he's hatched a bunch more stuff. He might have a bunch of hydralisks over there, I don't know. We're going to try to kill those hatcheries and get out. When you put the Zerg hatcheries down, he's going to be equal with us in economy again. Going to lose a few stalkers here, but you can blink out once the hatchery is dead and escape without losing too much. Check out the units lost tab. They're about equal at this point. Go back to the production tab. While you're doing this, you want to keep warping in more stalkers and just fall back. Now, because I knocked his expansion out, he's going to be re-expanding. I can do the same. So we'll both take expansions. At this point, my money's starting to float a little high, so it'll be a great time to expand, actually. And I do opt at this point to go for a Dark Shrine. I've been doing this a lot lately in my PvZs, and I think a lot more people should do it. The very late Dark Templar rush, not many Zerg expected. Mid-game Dark Templar are devastating. They can instantly destroy mineral lines, hatcheries. They can just cut through armies. They're very powerful, and not enough attention is given to them. So we'll see how effective they are in this game. But throw down my expansion here. I like to put a pylon here so I can put a couple of cannons to defend. I have this watchtower, so nothing's going to sneak up on me through here. Their attack would have to come through here, or I would spot it. If they come through here, odds are I'd see them coming over here. So it's not too much of a worry. And while I'm getting the Dark Templar, I'm also going for High Templar because he's probably going to counterattack me. Now, if you keep an eye on the minimap, I can see Banelings over here. The best counter to Banelings I have found is a single Blink Stalker. Just blink into them. So these 4 Banelings, that's 100 gas. Wait till they finish, and blink 1 Stalker right on top. Boom. Stalker takes 0 hull damage. All Banelings dead. That's 100 gas he has lost. And as you can see, he is like, no, Darth Vader-esque. But yeah. I warp in my 6 Dark Templar here, and they're going to go try to kill what they can. Send 3 to one base, 3 to the other. We're going to target here and here. And hopefully they'll hit it around the same time so we won't have much reaction time. And we're going to start taking the Sidestorm at the same time. I see he's also expanding here. It might be a decent idea to attack that hatchery instead of this hatchery. But, oh well. Any damage I do is decent damage. And these Dark Templar aren't having that much of an effect. They kill a roach, then they target the hatchery. Over here, we'll target this hatchery as he gets an Overseer out. Kill the hatchery, then try to get the Dark Templar out if you can. If you can save him, he'll be useful later on, perhaps. I do lose 1. I lose these 3. So for the cost of 4 Dark Templar, I kill the hatchery and force 2 Overseers to be made. Not a bad trade, and I'm also going to force him to look over his shoulder for the rest of the game, guessing when the Templar are going to come. It's psychological, but it does help. And you want to keep up with weapon upgrades as well. Right now I'm on level 1, researching level 2. So, you just want to keep up with your expansions, transfer probes over. Keep up with your tech. Right now he's going to be counterattacking soon, so I want the High Templar out. Signing Storm is almost done. These don't have enough energy to storm yet, though. But we're going to situate here and defend, so wherever he pokes, my army will be there to stop it.
You must construct additional pylons.
We did somewhat decent damage. He didn't have too big of an army. There it is. It's not too devastating. It looks like my Stalkers can take it. I need to pull those High Templar back until they have enough energy to storm. Hopefully the Stalkers can deal until then. It doesn't look like they can. Just keep warping in some more. The Templar now have enough energy to storm, so we're going to move them forward and storm on the greatest concentration of units. And try to blink forward, try to do as much damage. I don't want them to run away. I mean, the engagement doesn't really favor Blink Stalkers. in a straight up fight, they're not so good. But if you have enough of them, you can overwhelm them, and I don't want him to get away, because then he'll just reinforce with whatever he pulls back. See right there, he tries to run away. I'm not going to let him. Just run whatever you can down. And pick up everything you can. Check out the units lost tab. It's still relatively even. He is slightly ahead of me because that last engagement I lost a lot of stalkers, which are very expensive. But overall, now I have my Templar tech up. I have Kadaran Amulet finished. I finished now. So now I can warp in Templar constantly. I'm in a very good position to defend. Also, now is a good time to start moving into the Immortal Stalker Templar composition. Like finishing it with the Immortals, because I saw how many roaches he had. He's probably going to have a lot more roaches now that he knows I have Psystorm. So we're going to just get 2 robotics and switch it up and put in Immortals. It's a very powerful unit. They work very well. And if we just check back to the Everything tab, the Zerg, he's getting more roaches. He's getting more expansions. Check the Income tab. We're about even in Harvesters still, which is great. He has a better economy though, because he does have this gold expansion, which I do not. He's on 3 mining bases. I'm on basically 2. Well, soon to be 2. This one's starting to get mined out. So I'm going to have to even that up by taking this one over here. I could take this one, but it's too far forward. I'm trying to play a more passive game here where I sit back and max an army out. I don't really want to force an engagement before it's time. I want him to come to me. When he comes to me, he comes through these narrow chokes. Here, here, or here. And in any of those cases, Psionic Storm is extremely powerful because they have to clump up to get through. So you can just annihilate them. And of course, whenever you add an expansion, like I added here, and I'm adding here, you have to add more production facilities, so I'm chucking down 4 more gateways. Keep warping in the Templar, keep up your army macro. Here comes a couple of roaches just to scout, nothing too serious. Now around this time also is a good idea to add 2 Stargates in. Maybe slightly later. I do add 2 Stargates eventually, because when he starts coming out with Broodlords, which late game he will, you're going to need Void Rays to counter him. You cannot counter him unless you have Void Rays. But for now, we're going to stick with researching more weapons. This is level 3 coming. The Immortal at level 3 weapons is incredibly powerful, with 60 damage against armor that'll just eat roaches alive. 1 Psionic Storm from the Templar will knock a roach down so that an Immortal can hit it in 2 shots and just auto-kill it. Makes Immortals very potent. And at this point, he is up in supply. We check the Army Value tab. The Army values are relatively equal because his supply is mostly in cheap roaches, while my supply is in high-tech power units like Immortals, Stalkers, and Templar. But there's his Army Ball sitting out on my base trying to contain me as best he can to keep me from getting this gold. I'll just poke out. I don't really want to engage too far out because then I'll be surrounded. However, I can't sit in my base the whole time either. Once I have a decent sized army, I figure it's time to poke out. That should be around now. Soon anyway. There go the Stargates. But it is about time to move out when you have this size ball. You can't just let the Zerg sit back and take the entire map without contesting it at least. So here we go. And the real power of this army composition is in the Storm plus the Immortals. And you can watch as this entire army is just basically evaporated. Even with the fungal growth preventing my Zealots from doing any damage, the Immortals just work through that like 2-shotting roaches. 7 kills on this one, only 2 on him, 4 on him, 2 on him. The Stalker's all getting a fair number of kills as well. And of course, at this point, I can see he's going Corruptors. A lot of Zerg do this. They go Corruptors, but they don't. They're either planning on going Broodlords, which they might be, or they're expecting you to go Colossus, which most products do. At this point, you can control your Templar so you don't run them forward, and focus down the hatcheries. We're gonna kill this hatchery. Now, it might be a tempting target at this point to just push on into the main base. However, you really don't want to do that because he's probably rallying reinforcements to around here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out the outlying bases as well, like peel the Zerg apart. We'll kill this hatchery, we've killed this hatchery, so he'll be down to only 2 mining expansions. So his economy will be worse than mine. We had a huge advantage. And we can just fall back and regroup with our reinforcements we've been warping in. And we'll have another remaxed Protoss army ready to deal with them. And we've started Void Ray production as well. As soon as I saw those Corruptors, I knew Broodlords were a possibility, so it's time to start making Void Rays. You need Void Rays to deal with Broodlords. I've seen pros do it with Blink. I'm not sure how they manage to do it, because whenever I try it, all my Blink Stalkers end up dying, and they really do very little damage. So I've been relying on Void Rays, and it's worked fine for me. I'm sure it'll work fine for most of you. I mean, I can't imagine if you're watching this, you're playing people that are better ranked than people I'm playing. Most people who watch my videos are probably at least my level, at most my level. I don't know. I don't mean to sound like a dick, but yeah, there it is. Yep, and there's the Broodlords I was expecting, so Void Rays go and attack them. In the middle like this, they're not covered by the Hydras, so you can just focus fire them down. And look how fast the Void Rays kill those Broodlords. Since that plus massive damage buff, the Void Rays just tear through them. And there go the Storms on his Hydralisks, his Roaches, everything just tears through them. But that is a decent example of how to play late game PvZ, starting off with a 15 Nexus build, switching into a Mortal, Stalker, Templar, eventually getting Void Rays to deal with the Colossus. And this right here is the end game composition. I cannot think of a Zerg composition that I couldn't at least try to deal with this army style. I mean, even Mutiling, the High Templars would deal with them very well. I've had situations where people get as many as 40, 50 Mutalisks and attack a Mortal Stalker Templar ball like this, and the Storms just ravage all the Mutalisks. So this is the composition at the end that you really want. It's about as powerful as the Void Ray Colossus build. However, it's easier to replenish your area of effect damage dealers, but it's a little harder to tech to. I mean, if you lose your Void Ray Stalker Colossus ball, you're going to lose all of your anti-ground ability. However, if you lose this army, you can just warp in more Templar from your gateways instantly and have more anti-Hydra, anti-Roach ability. It's much easier to use in the late game. It's harder to get to. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.